What is up, everybody? Tomorrow's TV here today, and we're gonna talk about The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered again. Now, this was announced a few days ago. I let the dust settle to see what people thoughts about this was. Like, for the most part, people were not okay with this decision from Naughty Dog to release this remastered version of a game that is not even 3 years old at this point. It's like we just got this game recently. The game looks fine on the PS4 or your PS5. It looks pretty fine. The visuals, the gameplay wise, it looks. And it gave it, and I think it has a 60 FPS patch as well. So this game looks fine. It's a recent game. People are saying, why does this have a remaster coming out? I don't know, but Sony fanboys couldn't help themselves but defend this decision from Naughty Dog. This guy says, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered for PS5 is going to pull me back into the most realistic survival action adventure game I've ever played. I hope Naughty Dog and PlayStation can finish development on the upcoming multiplayer title, The Last of Us. That is, like I said, I did enjoy this game, but $70 though? $70 more than what you paid originally. That is just wild to me. Well, no, $7 plus tax. Excuse me, because you're paying almost $80 if you're in the US for this game. No thanks. It's like, all right, if I really want to play this game again, I will play the PS4 version of my PS5. It's that simple. I'm not spending 70 extra bucks for this nonsense. But to each their own. Like, usually, I wouldn't have a problem with this. Like, if you don't spend your money on whatever, good for you. I don't really care. But I don't want this to be a trend that keeps going, where this game sells extremely well, and they keep remastering games that's been out for like less than 3 years or 5 years at this point. Like, the game is still fresh. It's still pretty much new at this point. I know people say a game after a week is like old, but this game is pretty much new. It's only 3 years old. Why is this getting a remaster? I don't want that to be a trend in the gaming industry where we see constant newer games get remastered like every 3 years. They're already doing a remake for Horizon Zero Dawn, and that's already a PS4 game. Why do we need remakes of PS4 games? That makes no sense. Or a remaster of a game that's 3 years old at this point. That just doesn't make any sense to me. And I don't want this to be a trend that keeps going in the industry at this point. But it kind of looks like it's heading that way if this does well. It's like we see how Sony is doing. They're remastering and remaking games consistently. So I'm not really feeling this trend right here. This person states, I've said it so many times, Nintendo gets the pass for everything. Hashtag The Last of Us 2. He says The Last of Us 2 released 2020, remastered rumor for 2024. While Mario Kart 8 released 2014, re-released in 2017. Well, that's a big difference. That's a huge stretch right there because Mario Kart 8 was only on the Wii U at first in 2014. The Wii U flopped horribly. Most people didn't even buy that console. While the Switch, it makes sense to release that for the Switch because the Switch has a bigger audience and it's portable. So it's a big difference. Like, that's a huge, like, Mr. Fantastic stretch to try to compare the two situations. But, another guy tried to do the same thing. These dudes begging for a Gears Trilogy Remaster are upset at The Last of Us Part 2. I believe the Gears games are like 15 to 10. Like, they have been up for a while. Like, when is this? This guy has a breakdown. Gears of War Ultimate came out in 2015. That's 8 years ago. Gears of War 2 came out in 2008. Gears of War 3 came out in 2011. That's a big gap. Like, you got from 2008. That's 15 years ago. That's literally 15 years ago. Of course, people want to see that stuff like a remaster, look better. But you're talking about a game compared to a game that's 3 years old. That doesn't make sense. Like, that's once again, a big Mr. Fantastic stretch right there. That's like with these comparisons. It's just terrible. They're making these ridiculous comparisons to try to defend this nonsense from Naughty Dog. When you should be complaining why they haven't released the factions mode. It's like, where is that at? Why is that whole mode like missing in action? It's on ice, so to say. That's the term they're using, on ice. So, and this person states, the world didn't burn to a crisp when The Last of Us Remastered came out 1 year after its PS3 version on PS4. We'll be okay with a remastered of Part 2 after 4 years. Fake outrage and hate as usual when it comes to this game. Okay. So it's just fake outrage. I, for one, am not buying this game, so it's not fake outrage for me. I'm definitely sticking with my guns. I'm not buying this remaster. I didn't buy The Last of Us Part 1 remaster. I'm not buying this remaster. It's like, why? I can play these games on my PS5. Why buy this again? It doesn't make any sense to me. Like I said, usually I would be like, to each their own. But if you want to buy it, buy it. But this kind of decision that people keep buying these same games, these newer games in droves, these remasters, are going to hurt the industry. It's funny how they say Game Pass is going to hurt the industry, but I see this trend of them keep remastering these games every 3 to 5 years is going to hurt the industry even more. Like, why do you keep remastering these games? when you can put resource. There's so many games people want to see remade or remastered for for PlayStation, like the Infamous series. People want to see Cole back, the original electric, one of the biggest electric superheroes. We want to see that guy back. I wouldn't mind seeing him back on the in a newer game or a remaster or whatever. Infamous 2 is one of my favorite games on the PS3, so I wouldn't mind playing that game again. But you know, even though it's a different company, but it's still the same sentiment. Like, or even Jack and Daxter. When we can, why is that, like, why do they just discontinue the older stuff that people like just to bring out the Last of Us repeatedly? Like, I just don't understand that. There's so many games with so many properties they can remaster, but just the focus and the money going into this remaster is really really not sitting with me the right way at this point. So let's see what people have to say about this. The remaster itself wouldn't be an issue if along with them we actually got the new game as well. But nothing but remaster / remakes going into the 4th year is unsettling. Okay. I agree with this. However, I think people just want to see Naughty Dog do something new now. Yeah, we haven't seen anything new from Naughty Dog besides a TV show. Like, I think they released more TV shows and exclusive games at this point. Like, for this new system. Like, where are the games at from Naughty Dog? I don't think this is fake outrage. I am kind of bored of remasters / remakes, especially if they aren't at least 15-year-old games. Yeah, we just played this game 3 years ago. The majority of people played this game 3 years ago. We don't need a refresher for this game, especially a $70 one at that. So, okay, this is Neil Druckmann saying remakes, Naughty Dog. What fans actually want. The Last of Us factions in the trash, apparently. When you can play Last of Us Part 2 on PS5, it's a problem, yes. It's like, it looks just fine, it plays just fine on PS5. Why do we need a remaster? Like, it's just so unnecessary. Wii U to Switch. Yeah, I was like, this is a big stretch. Once again, that's a big stretch. You're talking about a game that flopped on this, that didn't sell on this flopped console compared to a console that's actually thriving. I would do the same thing. It's smart to bring these older Wii U games to the Switch, because that made sense. As like, if you had a console that didn't sell well and your new console selling well, why not bring the big exclusives over to that new console so you can do well? Like, that made sense. But Naughty Dog doing this doesn't make sense. So that's a big stretch right there. This is one of the worst false equivalencies I've ever seen to date. And I don't even play Mario Kart at all. Although it's impossible for Switch to be backwards compatible with Wii U because it's two different physical media. You can't put a disc in the Switch. Also, from what I know, Mario 8... I'm about to read the rest of that, but you get the gist of it. The Last of Us could have been a free upgrade through backwards compatibility, though. Switch isn't backwards compatible with Wii U, so Mario Kart 8 Deluxe makes more sense. He replied back to this comment. Is that a The Last of Us problem, though? Oh, man, stop defending Sony. Like, this is just ridiculous. Switch could have been backwards compatible, and they could have offered Mario Kart 8 as a free upgrade. Really? That makes no sense. It's two different. One is a disc, as we see in the picture right here, and the other one is a cart. I'm like, how can they just add, this guy's dumb. Like, what are you talking about? Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is probably one of the best games ever. It should be released on every Nintendo console. Nothing wrong there. Well, that's nope. They shouldn't do that. It's like, we kind of want a Mario Kart 9 now at this point. The Mario Kart made sense since no one bought a Wii U. Exactly. The Wii U flopped as a console, so it makes sense why they released it on the new one. What do people say about the dude hating on the Gears comparison? What do people say about this one? Sad state of affairs when everyone wants remasters and new games. Not gonna lie, a lot of old but gold gamers are still stuck on a very old gen. I mean, I like the new Gears trilogy with the new younger characters. I didn't mind the new trilogy, but I wouldn't mind playing the older games too with a fresh coat of paint. I think that's where remasters and remakes are for older games. That's probably don't play this. They don't play as great as they should be. So we got like obsolete controls at this point. So I think that's where remakes and remasters were originally for. But Sony kind of tainted it with this new direction. They remaster games every 3 to 4 years, 3 to 5 years at this point. We're making remakes. Like, once again, Horizon Zero Dawn is getting a remake. Why do we need that? Like, what are they really gonna like? Why are we gonna remake Horizon Zero Dawn? That doesn't make any sense. That's not a good comparison. We're talking about a 3-year-old game versus Gears 2, which is a 15-year-old game. Bro, just stop it. What a terrible comparison. At least people are acknowledging like this comparison is just awful, because it really is. This post gave me cancer. Jeez. Let's see. Bruh, I said this about the people wanting the old Pokemon games on Switch, yet they're hating on Last of Us 2 coming out. I mean, that's kind of vague right there, but okay. Naughty Dog fumbles the PS5 generation. Yeah, okay. I'm shocked. The game media has actually come calling PlayStation out. That's a shocker right there. A good trilogy from over 10 years ago versus a game from 3 years ago that won't have anything new. Pretty much, like it's not gonna be really anything new. I think the guy like the guy who makes the songs, whoever makes the song, the composer making, he's to be a playable character. Other than that, what's gonna be new about this remaster? Nothing really. Wow, dual sense controls. That's probably the biggest feature they're gonna try to sell you, but or ray tracing or whatever. I don't care about any of that. But yeah, I'm gonna conclude it right here. It's like I'm not feeling this remake, remaster, this direction from Sony. Instead of releasing new content, new compelling content, you just keep releasing the same old stuff. And I see what people call this the remake Station 5. That title is kind of fitting for the PlayStation this generation. But definitely want to see your thoughts down below. Leave a like this video. And as always, thanks for watching, and peace.